and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147, and I'm back working on my crystal flower or dynamic floral from Kate'd. Of course, I've not worked on this since our last WIP Chats because I've been busy doing Cosmic. I actually brought Cosmic in here and then realised that I did Cosmic last week. So it's time for some dynamic floral. So let me zoom you in. This one is done all using rhinestones. So these are all crystal rhinestones. This is the last of my bottom section, and depending on how many questions and how long it's been will depend on if I get to move up a row today, though there is only a few colours here that sort of seem to be filling quite a few gaps, so I'll probably end up moving on to another section. But yeah, I hope everybody is having a really good week. Products were announced yesterday, the new products for March, so I thought it was very suitable to use the Add More Zest two-tone tray and the new limited pen for this month. Gives me a chance to crack them out on YouTube rather than just using them when I'm doing diamond painting in an evening. I have pulled all my tubs with these diamonds in out of the Craftmate storage case. I just find them easier to use if they're all loose. But I do want to do a switch between which side they're on and which side I have your comments and questions on, because I am right-handed, so it is easier to have the comments and stuff on the right. See how many. I've actually realised I'm quite a bit behind with the comments on the Heaven and Earth Design part of, or Heaven and Earth Design WIP Chats, which is probably because that is one, a diamond painting that I have to concentrate on a bit more, with it being my blank canvas and cross stitch pattern. But also it's very limited in time wise, so it's however long it takes me to do a section. Whereas with this WIP Chat, as we found with dynamic floral, I don't always finish when a section is finished. I tend to finish when we've got through all the comments, or it's been over an hour or something like that. So yeah, we'll see. I do have a lot of comments on Heaven and Earth Design, but I will answer them for Thursday's WIP Chats, which there'll be quite a bit more progress than there was last week. Not loads more, but there'll at least be a week's worth of progress, which is much better. But dynamic floral is getting there, considering I've only been doing it on WIP Chats. I've not quite had the urge to do it otherwise yet, because I have really been enjoying doing Cosmic, and I do have my Paint Gem minis as well if I want to do something different. So this one might just get done with WIP Chats. We shall see. It might get finished when I finish Cosmic. Sarah B, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she is a bit behind on my videos, but she has a bit of an off-topic question, she says, for you. She said she hopes that's okay. If not, she says, feel free to skip my question. She said she's American, but she's been wanting to make sausage rolls for dinner. She says she's curious, what do you have as a side dish with sausage rolls, or are they more of an appetizer than a main dish? Sausage rolls are a snack / their lunch. They could possibly be eaten at breakfast time. I've never had a sausage roll for my main meal. Sausage rolls are normally often picked up from bakeries as sort of a fast food. So you know they'll sell sausages, they'll sell pasties, pies, and then sausage rolls. So I've never eaten it as a full dinner. It's normally followed by a cake from said bakery quite often. If you wanted to serve it with something as a main meal, I would probably serve it with chips. What type of vegetables? Maybe peas, maybe not. But it's definitely more of a snack. I wouldn't say it's a starter though. It's just more of a lunchtime than a main meal kind of food, or at least it is here. If anybody does eat sausage rolls as a main, do feel free to comment below what you have with yours. I can imagine chips going with a sausage roll. Maybe mushy peas, I want to say, but maybe not. That's more fish chips and mushy peas. Yeah, put your suggestions down below what you tend to eat with sausage rolls, but I see it more as a lunchtime snack than as a main meal, that's for sure. I hope that helps you, Sarah. Kathleen, she says, what is a glue dot, as she's new to diamond painting? So glue dots are often used in paper crafts. Just to show you mine, preferably one that the dog's half attached to this box. So they're just little dry dots of glue. So we tend to use the 3mm, and we just pop them in the pen tip instead of wax. They are quite a bit sticky to start off with, but if you dab them on your clothes or on your skin or on your cover paper, just to pick up a little bit of dust or fluff off your clothes or oil off your skin, it dulls down the sticky just a little bit. But then you can diamond paint for a whole lot longer before you need to refill it. Or maybe even take the glue dot out and pop it back in the pen just to catch a stickier part. I have done the size of at least a full 30 by 40 without changing a glue dot. Whereas when you use the wax that comes with kits, you quite often have to refill that. Depending on how hard you press down, depends on how often you have to refill it, but glue dots definitely last longer. I never used to have to fill up my wax as often as some people do, because I am quite light when I put them down, even though sometimes I do give them a bit of welly. In general, I'm quite light when I put them down. And then I do like to either run my hands over and make sure that any that are sticking up just a little bit to put down properly, or I run over it with a roller just to, adhere them a bit better to the canvas. I find if I make a mistake and need to move one, it's a lot easier to do that if I've placed it lightly in the first place. But yeah, they're an alternative to wax that will last you a lot longer. Jackie, she says, hi Rebecca, she says she has been watching some of the older videos, she said, for company. So she's commented on a video where I was doing I Choose You by Diamond Art Studio. She said, and she had an idea about multi-placing for me. She says she knows I have the initial R with a black background, which is from the same series. Jackie did about 5 of the letters. There is an initial with a black background. She did quite a few for gifts. She says, how about you use that for practicing multi-placers? She said it was doing hers while doing her initials with the multi-placer that she realised how good they are. So yeah, I think that's probably what I need to be doing, is something with quite a bit of a solid colour background for quite a lot to really get into the swing of using a multi-placer, which at the minute is not really what I'm doing. If I'd already, used a multi-placer, used them all the time, then yes, I'd use it on Cosmic Trip and it would probably be fine. But I've not. I find it so quick just single placing that it doesn't enter my head to multi-place straight away. But if I did have something with a big blocky background, or maybe even the likes of the Splatterworks with, quite a heavy background colour with just a scattering of other ones, then maybe that would be the best one for me to practice on. So when I next get one kitted up with a very heavy background area, I will crack out my multi-placers and give them a good go, and see if I can master them fully. Right, it's going to take my cardie off because this craft room is getting warm now that the door's shut, but it is freezing outside. We've had snow. We have had the snow. There were signs of spring, and then it all disappeared and it went freezing. But yeah, we have had snow. It didn't stick first off. Then we had a shower of it yesterday and it stuck to the grass. But within an hour it had gone again. So while we've had snow, it's not stuck around, which is kind of good, but it is freezing. It's like it's March. It shouldn't be snowing in March. There should be signs of spring in March. I'm sure I had my washing out at some point last March. It got really, really nice, albeit nearer the end of the month, but we did have some really, really nice days in March. And now we're getting snow and motorways clogged up and school shut. Not in our area. The snow wasn't heavy enough, but there has been some areas of the UK that have had schools shut due to the snow. Wales got it quite bad. Or North Wales, Sheffield, I think they have had about 30 centimetres of snow. Random is what it is. Random. All Things Crafty by Kaz. She says she is watching this while she's actually doing a Splatterworks. She is doing Cyril the Squirrel from Diamond Art Studio. I have Cyril in my stash. He is in with my animals, waiting to get picked out, but I pushed Cosmic Trip in and didn't do my decision wheel. I just decided I was doing Cosmic Trip as soon as it arrived. So maybe I'll get to my decision wheel soon enough and maybe get one of my animals done. I guess it depends on which one gets picked. I do know I have a lot of large paintings and just not enough time to get them all done at the moment. I forget that they take a few months. I've probably got a few years worth of large paintings sat in my stash. Oops. Diamond Painting Lisa says she absolutely loves the Cosmic Trip canvas. She said it's beautiful. It is. It's so much fun to work on, and I'm getting to sections now that have more of the pops of colour. On the right, there's like train tunnels, train archways. There's a name for it, but it escapes me. Yeah, so I'm getting to that part, which there's a load of colour in that part, so it's quite exciting. There's a scattering of ABs throughout, and yeah, it looks really, really good. Jackie says yes. She says she remembers when it used to be $2 to the pound. Yes, that was quite a while ago. Quite a while ago, we'd get $2 for a pound, but not anymore, unfortunately. Exchange rates definitely fluctuate, and they've not gone in our favour. I have just spotted, there it is, a number 1 that I missed. It is really, really hard to see the diamond squares that are not done on this canvas. And I don't think it's the canvas itself, because when I've not got any diamonds on it, the symbols are fine to see. So it's not the fact of the canvas is poor to see, it's the way that the rhinestone diamonds reflect, and the way that they bounce the light tends to sort of mask some of the symbols. They're very hard to see the effect that they have until you take a step back, that's for sure. Sometimes I don't even know if the view from the camera looks as good as it actually is. See, look, when it's down compared to when I pull it up, it just gets a completely different look to it. So yeah, it can be hard working on a rhinestone canvas, or at least one that's all rhinestones rather than just a scattering of them. But it is what it is. So I'm just going to do my best to not miss any. The lighter ones are a little bit easier. Did I have one down here, or did I actually get it? No, I got that one. So I've got a K and a few B's. So let's get this single K. And these pots, there is a benefit to these pots being quite big to just be able to dip in and get one. But I've got a major sticky glue dot as well, which I'm fighting with. So it's all fun. Right, let's pop some B in my container, and then I will be moving over to the next row. So I'm going to have a rejiggle. Oh, these are very similar colour to the tray itself. Not the same, but similar. They look pretty in it anyway. Cat Lady, she says, wow, she says, Cosmic is coming along nicely, lovely. She said it's very colourful. Oh, managed to drop one down here. Is it that colour? It is. She says she has an A2 light pad that she actually had before her A4, as it was bought for cross stitch. Yeah, well, this is my A3 light pad that I have on here at the moment. And it's working quite well. It's only a little bit bigger because this is classed as an A3 easel. So it is only a little bit bigger than my easel because of the edging around it. Right, let's see if I can make that work. Woohoo! And I have got some letter B's in here. So I don't think I'm gonna do them all, but I am just going to do them with whatever I have left in my tray, because it would be daft to put the diamonds away to then have to get them out again in a bit. So we'll pop in the bees that we have, and then I will be moving across a bit as well. Just checking I've not got any stuck further down in the spout, because I did go to tip them into my tray. But yeah, I am loving this bigger light pad. I do feel like it gives a bit more support to the bigger paintings, makes it a little bit easier to work on them. So that's good. I'm losing diamonds out of this container tub. I think these containers have their use, but if you're very limited on how many containers you can have, or how many different types of storage that you can hold, don't put these on your list. I'm not keen on them in the long term, though they do work for the odd paintings. Right, now I need to move the comments around so I can see them. Anne Smith said it's a nice tip to have on the cover paper on the partial area. Yeah, I'm forever moving cover paper, so even now when I've taken this off, I sort of move it up a bit, and I'll sort of maybe go, okay, I'm starting to get this letter J in here that isn't further up, but these 8s and stuff do continue over here, so maybe that's a good space to put the cover sheet to sort of stop doing, as to work on a section. But we'll see. I'm just working across bit by bit at the moment. Oh, I think what I also did was I lifted up the ones above to put pieces of cover paper hanging the opposite way, just to cover up the partial part that I'd done. I do that quite often as well, especially when I uncover a bigger piece than I actually have time for. And I end up running out of time, or it gets too late, or I've just been chasing diamonds across a big section, and yeah, for whatever reason I need to stop. I will cover it that way so that at least I'm not going to get any dust on the painting before I get to do any more. But yeah, Cosmic's definitely getting there. Robert says he's ecstatic that I answered his question, and was tickled pink when he heard me answering it. Oh, you're more than welcome. I go through all the comments on the WIP Chats, apart from ones that are just emojis, you know, just people letting me know that they're there. But you know, I don't need to tell you every emoji that's there. They just make me smile, and I recognise that, you know, it's people saying a quick hello. But yeah, I always read out every comment. It sometimes can take me a couple of weeks, depending on how behind I get, or how long my WIP Chats are, or how many comments I get, but I do try to answer them all. I've just got 2 number 1s. Let me see if I can just fish these out. And those number 1s were a lot easier to see because I haven't got diamonds around it. Maybe I should sort of start doing colours in, you know, a bit more of a follow the direction of the painting to help me not miss any as I'm going along. Might help. It might not, because some of them do end up scattering all over the place. But where's the letter F? I am going to do these few letter Fs. Get just a few diamonds in my tray. Robert says right now he's working on Iris of the Rainbow full of beautiful colours. And he says he listens to my videos while working, most of the time while he's working on his. So I love your Heaven and Earth design that I've been working on. It's turning out very beautiful. It is. I feel like I'm really getting somewhere with it now, that I'm actually committing, you know, time most days to it. I'm definitely finding that is helping to get along. You know, I do enjoy doing it, as I say, and sometimes you do just have to carve out that time, and I'm just making sure that some of my me time includes my Heaven and Earth design. Diamond Painting Nerd says they are so glad that they have found my channel. Said they're a scrapbooker at heart and share their scrapbooking stuff, but they do love all crafts. They've recently started diamond painting because they need another hobby, right? I agree. Another hobby is never a bad thing. The bad thing is finding the time to do them all, or the space to store them all. They're the bad things. So they thought they'd share their diamond painting adventures. They are loving it, but they do need more hours in the day to fit in all the crafts. That is so true. It's the time that's the problem when it comes to crafts, not anything else. So I've just had a quick sneaky look, because this number 6 does continue on a bit here. And covering up the J, I've covered up about 3 of them, but it is over here as well, which means next section that I do, I'm going to have to tip out some number 6 anyway. So I'm not creating more work for myself by ignoring those couple under the cover sheet. So I'm going to leave them there. And keep I'm keeping an eye on working up, but I'm also keeping an eye that I'm not going to block some symbols in that will be harder to read later. Nancy says she's had a lovely Sunday afternoon diamond painting and listening to the WIP and Waffle. She said thanks. She said cheers from a very snowy. She says they got 35 centimetres on Friday, Saturday overnight in Canada. She says it does look beautiful out there, she has to admit. If you're staying inside, snow can look really beautiful outside. It's when you have to go out in it. And sometimes I think either, 30, 35 centimetres, great, fine. Stay at home, enjoy the snow, all the rest of it. It's when it then starts turning to ice and slush that we don't like it. But then again, Canada is a lot better with dealing with snow on the roads than the UK are. The UK doesn't quite know what to do when it snows. A bit of a hands up, oh goodness me, the world's falling apart is what we have when there's snow. We just, we can get it each year, but it never normally lasts long enough for us to have to really do something about it. Jeffrey says that he seconds the snowfall in Canada scenario. Said it was very heavy, snowy wallop the other day. I love that description. Heavy, snowy wallop. Anna says great progress. She says she's in the state of Massachusetts. I've said that wrong. Massachusetts in the US. She's working on a special diamond painting mandala at the moment. There are some really, really pretty mandalas out there. some really nice ones, and also, don't get offended, but there are some really ugly ones out there as well. I think a lot of it is a personal preference, but yeah, I think there can be some really gorgeous designs and some really butt ugly designs. If you're working on it as a diamond painting, my guess it is one of the pretty designs and not one of the ugly ones. Billy says, hi Rebecca, said she didn't get to sit down and diamond paint with me until 8 p.m. That's a busy day. She's had to work extra hours. Also, her grandson, who is 7 years old, has had his first basketball game, and they all went out to eat after. Oh, that's a good excuse. At least it wasn't just work. He said he scored 18 points and he was ecstatic. I'm not surprised. Well done. She said she's working on Lady Playing Violin in the Moonlight. That's what she calls the painting. I like giving them my own names sometimes. She said it's from Heartfelt Diamonds. She's halfway done and she is enjoying working on squares. She said thanks for the company and best of luck for the new shop items. Yes, new shop items that were announced yesterday. And yeah, many more to come. I really don't know where this week has gone. It has flown by this week, and all of a sudden it was like Friday again. And hubby's like, yay, it's Friday. And I'm like, oh no, I've still got loads I can do. I'm definitely keeping myself busy. But yeah, it's fun it's fun when all the new goodies arrive. I am hoping all goes well to film a tour of the craft room, which is now the shop, on this week for a video for this week. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to film the outside storage as well. I might do sort of a brief show of it. I do need to check that I've not got any advent goodies stashed in there. I know I have a couple hanging around in here that need me to do something for them before they can be stashed away, but I'm going to move those out. So you may see some sneaks of things to come mixed in with that. So yeah, be sure to check that video out. All going well, I will get that filmed. But sometimes life gets in the way. But I'm hoping to get that done this weekend. Maybe get somebody to take Luna out for a walk so she doesn't keep getting in the shot or getting in the way, which is her normal. If the craft room door is left open long enough, she seems to think, oh, you're filming in here or you're talking in here, I can come and have a sniff. Yeah, rather than staying out like she normally does. I don't know what it is that makes her feel like it's different, but it definitely does. Okay, right, I'm not going to do the number 2 yet because that one is very much scattered. I think I'm going to finish this B block. Then I might move on to, I might actually do the letter U before I do the number 2. I'm just trying to think of which ones stand out a little bit more, and I'm not sure if the ones with the white background, which tend to be darker colours, are better going in first. But let's do the letter B. She also says, Billy also says to have a great weekend, and she has confirmed the shorty is back to 100%, which is great news. Always good to know. Love getting the updates, especially when people and pups or animals are feeling better, it's always good to know, because I know it is one of those things that just pops into my head every now and then, and I'm sure it pops in to your guys' heads as well every now and then. Oh, that was discussed the other week. I wonder what happened with that. So I try to remember to give you updates, but if they do come through on YouTube comments, it's always a lot easier for me to keep track of. Jeffrey says hello. So he says this canvas is intense. Thank you for your WIP and chat. Yes, it is. I'm about 2 rows of cover paper off hitting about 50%, I think, on Cosmic, which may not seem like a lot. You know, it might seem really close to being 2 off, but it's about 7 pieces of cover paper long. So they are pretty big strips of sections. And that's just going by the text across the top. And when it reaches roughly halfway, is about 2 more strips. But yeah, I'm loving doing it. I still think it's going to be another month, if not more. These rhinestones are really sticking to this glue dot. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving all the pops of colour. And I really enjoy it when I get to sort of set it up and sit down and go, right, okay, I get to do an hour or 2 of it on an evening. Diamond Sparkle Chase says, thank you for their order. They received it last week. She says, and thank you for all that you do. She says she does think that the extra charge is a conversion charge. She says, thanks for answering my question. Yeah, and that conversion charge will be different according to your bank or financial provider. I say, I know when I go to Australia, I always use my credit card because it is cheaper for me with the conversion to then go in than using my bank card, because my bank card charges me a conversion and a fee on the top of that. So I'd have sort of 2 charges, the amount I spent and then a bit for the bank because they want it. So I don't tend to use my normal bank card when I go to Australia. I take some cash with me, but there are times where, you know, you might be shopping and you might need to pick something up that's a different price. If in doubt with conversion charges, I think you can use PayPal and that will convert it for you, and that will tell you the amount in your currency before it's taken. Before you confirm that you want to pay. So that's probably the easiest way to know, though whether their conversion rate is as good as your bank, you'd have to check with your bank on that one. But yeah, that's what I do sometimes, is I just use PayPal, because then PayPal will charge me in pounds for something I buy in dollars, and then they'll just tell me how many dollars, how many pounds they're going to take, and I go, is that a fair price? Yeah, okay, boom. Job done. Sometimes that's easier. She says tomorrow she is going to be getting Vivian Fox. She says she's so pretty, and she said have a great day from Texas. Vivian Fox is a really nice one, actually. I love doing it. I was so excited to kit it up. I know Cosmic seemed to have squashed a little bit of that, but believe me, the excitement was there. Then we have, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, you don't have to say my username. She says, please call me Natalie. Please pop Natalie on your comments and I'll be more than happy to use Natalie. Hopefully I won't forget. There are a few that I have remembered now, but it does tend to take me a bit before they sink in fully what everybody's name is compared to username. There are a few people that have a different name on YouTube, a different name on Facebook, and then they have their first name. So that sometimes throws a spanner in the works for me as well, because I'm not awesome with names. They take a bit of repetition before they stick in my head. She says she has a question for me. She says, have you tried the diamond painting shop called Jaded Gem Shop? She says she's completed a kit from them and they have nice quality. She says although their kits tend to be confetti heavy, she says it does tend to pay off pretty well. She says she's also enjoying the WIP and Waffle. She says they keep her company while she's working on her Diamond Art Club mystery kits. She says she does hope that I have a fun time doing Cosmic and that it turns out beautifully. She says she does kind of envy me because of how pretty the picture is. Yeah, I can get that, because I would be envying everybody else if I hadn't managed to get it. Anybody who did manage to get it, I just hope they get their restocks soon. Speaking of restocks, just a quick little side note. We are hoping end of this month, beginning of next month, for the restocks to hopefully have cleared all their customs and made their way to us. So emails will be sent out as soon as they are in, but just to give you a little mini heads up that hopefully end of March, beginning of April for them to have arrived. They were ordered pretty quickly, but it was the Chinese New Year. So of course that slowed things down and in turn caused them to have a backlog when they came back to work. So she also says that the Heaven and Earth design is turning out beautifully. She said she can't wait to see it finished. She says sorry for the long comment, but she hopes that I have a good rest of my day. Oh, I do enjoy the long comments as well as the short ones. I like both. Nice mixture is good when I'm doing a WIP and chat, which is what I seem to get. But I've not tried the Jaded Gem Shop. I've actually not been on a hunt for a while or tried any new shops. My stash seems to be a bit big at the moment, with ones that just keep jumping out at me as being amazing. So sometimes it can be hard for me to go shopping when my stash is so big. Like, it's a lot bigger than I would normally have my stash. So yeah, I kind of feel a bit guilty then going shopping and adding more to it when my stash never used to be as big as it is now. And it never normally is as big as it is now. And I don't seem to be able to curb it at the moment. There just seems to be ones that I fall in love with. I also keep meaning to try Evermoment now as well on AliExpress. I've seen good things with them having poured glue. It looks like they have sticker sheets now for labelling them up. So they are really, you know, becoming a high quality store on AliExpress, which they were anyway. But they're definitely showing more signs of being an even, you know, of taking steps to give us all the things that we like. So I keep meaning to test them as well and get another painting from them to show you all what they're like. But yeah, I just haven't got around to it. And I did do a couple of number 4s down here, and I don't know why. Oh no, I did H's, that was it. There's a load here and there's a load round here as well. Oh well. There's a couple of them done now. Crystal, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she's watching this WIP and Waffle a little bit later than normal. She says she's waiting to take Emmy to the vet to be spayed. She said she's a Dachshund, Yorkie mix and spastic, she says. She says, how was it keeping Luna calm after her spay? She says, any advice? Luna actually had a bit more of a tough time after being spayed, not in relation to any complications, but in relation to her breed and her painkillers not really being enough for her. So she never actually really moved or jumped a lot at all. All she wanted to do was sit and snuggle, really. That's all she was interested in. She was half and half over eating, which is not her. So yeah, we really didn't have too much trouble in relation to it. We did try and use a jacket for her, like a little medical coat for her most of the time, which, you know, didn't make her feel quite as constrained as having the cone on. We did bring her pen in that she used to have when she was a pup. We brought her pen in for her to sleep in because it gave her a bit more room, because we did put the cone on her when she was going down for the night. So we gave her a bit more space so that she could move about and actually settle down a bit more by bringing in a little playpen that she used to have as a puppy. But apart from that, we didn't have too much jumping as an issue. I think the best thing to do is just try and remove any things that would normally make them jump as possible. But yeah, trying to make them stop is entertaining. I know the few times she did seem to be a bit better, and she did get a bit more lively. It was definitely harder to keep her reined in. Right, I'm just going to have a look for a couple that I can just dip into the pot and get, because then they're less likely to get missed when there's a load more added on. Oh, it takes a bit to get some of these open. But yeah, seeing if I can fill up some of these. There's a few over here as well that are just random little single ones, because they will get lost when I start filling in the other ones. Danaya says ADHD. She said it explains both the unable to concentrate as well as the hyper focus. She said it can make life fun sometimes. That's for sure. It's just a different way of living, isn't it? Not a different way of living, but normal for you. But there are things that you can do that can help you, to feel a bit better with it all, or to work for you. Tools that work for you, organisation wise or planning your day wise. Liz, she says, thanks Rebecca. She says she's found the perfect use for the slim washi tape for the advent calendar. She said, it is, get my words out. She said it is exactly the right width for going around a placer, a metal placer, if it's a bit loose in the pen. She says she loves the green tray. She says one is definitely heading her way, and she's looking forward to the shop that's out later this week, or well, yesterday, as we're here now. Launch is on Friday at 9 PM GMT, and that's when the products will get stocked up. Okay, just trying to see how many more comments. Okay, there is quite a few. but I do have a lot of other bits as well as videos on my list for today. So let's crack open one more colour, and let's go for this letter N, which is a scattering in with this one. And I'm going to see how many questions I can answer while doing the letter N. That's also looks pretty in this tray as well. Jo, she says she is working on her work in progress, or her WIP again. She says after an eventful Friday, she says finishing the last nano block kit. I keep getting loads of videos popping up for Lego, you know, because we went to the Lego shop the other day and there's so many nice things in there. Just don't have the house space for them. She says her dog Snickers got hold of one of the pieces and managed to chew it. She said it is a good job that it was just an extra piece. She says then a few days ago she caught her sniffing a diamond painting pen. She said she wants to help, she guesses. Luna likes to have a sniff of my diamond painting when I set it up. She tends to come and sit next to me on the couch. She'll have a sniff and then she'll go, oh, it's your diamond painting. And then she'll flop down and lie down and let me diamond paint. She says, thank you for another amazing waffle. And for the company, she says, while she works on her WIPs, even her non-diamond painting ones. So many interests. So many interests, Jo. Richard said, hi Rebecca, said, would you consider doing a black and white tray as they're a Newcastle United fan? He said, let me know. Thanks in advance. I don't think we can find, I've not seen, doesn't mean I won't go looking, but I've not seen a filament that will do black and white like this. So where this is gold and pink, so it's gold on one side and pink on the other, and some of them are a mixture and look a little bit like a drumstick lollipop. I've not seen any that we do the two-tone in the black and white, but we do have white trays in stock, and we do have black ones that come up as limited. So you could maybe have one size in the white and one size in the black. But I will keep an eye out, because I do think if they do a dual filament that is black and white, I think that could actually look pretty good. A bit like yin and yang. So yeah, if we ever get to, then of course we will let you all know. But that is where I'm going to stop for today. I say I have got quite a few things I want to fit in today, as well as around videos. And I feel like my voice is going as though I'm coming down with something, which really doesn't help with lots of talking. But if I lift that up so it's flatter, I don't know if the light just shines better off it than on my angle, but you can start to see some of the colours. And this part here is starting, well, partly this, is starting to be the base of one of the flowers. So it will be quite interesting to see what this turns out like when it's done. But what I am going to do, how far across will that go? Where's my small piece? I'm going to do what I've done with others and tuck that underneath, and that will keep this protected. This one can go back into my cover paper holder. So I have quite a few in here, but these are the normal size sheets that I use. These are the smaller ones that have primarily been for Advent when I've cut them down, and I use them sometimes on the sides. So I've now just got them in two different halves of my cover paper holder, and then I have a second cover paper holder in my cart, in my tool cart. But we have got the bottom row done through all the WIP and waffles on this one. I just like to run my fingers over them just to check that they are all pressed down. They don't tend to pop back up. It tends to be me not pushing them down enough when I'm placing them. Not getting that satisfying click on some of them, and you can tell by rubbing your hand over it whether they're smooth or not. That one's a little bit out of sync. That's why I was running my hand over it and I'm thinking that doesn't feel right. And there was one diamond that was just stuck up just a little bit more than the rest. But yeah, I think we're all down now. So yeah, first strip of this one done. Many more to come, unless I get the urge to finish it off. But I will carry on with the comments on next week's WIP and Chats. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.